So I've decided I'm going to checker my front strap. This is my experimental frame, so it's not super critical. I've goofed up stuff on it already, so I'm not too worried about it. I don't have a jig or a fixture or whatever, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. Initially, I've just mounted the frame in my vise here. It's got the padded inserts here so I don't ding it up. And I've just tried to make sure that it's perpendicular to this face of the side of the jaws, because I will start out by doing some horizontal grooves here, just to kind of set where the top of the checkering will be. And then from what I've read, it's easier to do all the verticals first before you do all the horizontals. So I'm going to do the horizontals just to set this top, then I'll go ahead and do all the verticals. I'm not sure how I'm going to guide the file for those, but we'll see. But initially at least, I'll have the vise to guide me as I get these first few cuts done. And I'll try to do these completely and as deep as the file will go. And then apparently you always need to use a needle file to finish the cuts, because the checkering file won't go deep enough. So this is a checkering file. This one's 30 lines per inch. You buy whatever you want, 20 lines per inch, 25, 30, whatever. There's a variety of different ones. And let me see if I can get this to focus. Yeah, you can see there's rows of teeth, and you can kind of see the direction that the teeth are facing, so they cut. Anywho, so I'll start out by doing this guy, and then what I'll probably do is just take several pieces of tape to build up some thickness on the smooth part of the frame, just following my topmost cut, and use that as the stop to protect the frame and to stop the file as I'm doing the vertical cuts. That's the idea. So we'll see how it goes. And I'll put some tape on my hands, because if this will cut metal, it'll certainly shave away at my skin. So I've read that other people use tape and they were pretty sore just using the file, so they put tape on their fingers for protection. So I'll do that right from the get-go. I want to move this back a little bit. That cuts too high on the front strap. I can see all those cuts forming. So after just two very short, relatively light strokes, let me show you what I'm seeing here. It's interesting, when I run this across here, it cuts down into it, and it actually almost locks the file in place right here. It digs its own grooves and then kind of gets locked in place, and I kind of have to jerk it up out of there. Interesting. This is going to be time consuming. So I've now filed one set of grooves across the front strap, and that's basically one width of the checkering file. And I began by using the vise as a guide, but that was only to get this started. And then I just clamped the gun like this and did the rest of it freehand. It's not too bad, but it's not perfect. I think I'm probably curving downward a little bit here. I'm not perfectly parallel all the way across, but I think I'm coming this way a little bit as I came over here. But it's not too bad for my first attempt. Also, I got off by one. I got the file to the left by one groove, and so I scuffed the frame a little bit here, so I went ahead and made an entirely additional line all the way across, which you can see there. I didn't want to go that high, but that's okay. So give you a shot of this side. Doesn't look too bad. So now, one other point that I wanted to make as well. Instead of taping up my fingers every time I wanted to do this, I kind of figured that would be an excuse to work less on it, because it's a nuisance to tape your fingers up whenever you want to do it. I just taped and then throw the tape away when I'm done. I just taped up the file. Put a little tape here, put a little tape here, because you hold it with one hand here, and then you hold it with the other hand up at the top. Grab it with both hands. So I think that's just a little tip. It's a nice way to do it. Tape the file up. For this next part, what I'm going to do is put a set of grooves just along the top part of the backstrap, or the high point of the backstrap here. I'll just start out by doing one set of grooves along that high point, and then I think I'll proceed to make all these grooves. I'll just go over by one groove, file that down, go over by one groove, file that down, and use the previous grooves as a guide for each additional groove until I'm all the way over. Obviously I'll need to remove this tape for that, because the end of the file will need to be doing a lot of that cutting. My biggest concern to do this set of grooves is that, so for example, if I just wanted to cut, let's say, a notch here on the end, you've got a ton of teeth passing over the metal. Zip. However, to put these grooves in here on that last, perpendicular to this last ridge, to cut through that last ridge, I'm going to have just like 1 or 2 file teeth going over that ridge before I bump in to my stop here. So it might be pretty tough to cut these teeth here. A lot of teeth will be passing over. See, if I put the file here, you have a lot of teeth passing over this metal, but by the time I get to the end here, I'm only going to have a little 1 or 2 teeth passing over this last, again, I'm not sure what to call that, the depressions, I guess, or grooves, the high points. I'll just call it a high point. I'll just have 1 or 2 teeth passing over that last high point to cut a new groove in this vertical direction of the front strap. So that could be tricky. That's my biggest concern, but that's where I'm at, and I'm pleased with this. Takes a little bit of work, and I've got to do it in little chunks because my hands get tired. So the next thing I'll do, as I said, take that tape off, and then, or maybe just put some tape on the top of the file for me to press on, and make a single set of grooves on the high point of the front strap, and go from there to complete all these vertical grooves. Then I'll just offset the file by a couple of grooves, add a couple this way, add a couple, work my way down to finish these horizontal grooves. So I started off by just keeping the file at a steep angle, maybe around 45 degrees, just to get this thing started. And then I'll slowly, and I'm just doing this all by hand, no guides or anything. Maybe that's dumb, but that's what I'm doing. And then I'll slowly begin to tip it over at a flatter and flatter angle, and get these grooves to move up the front strap there until we're all the way at the top.